All right. I want to thank everyone for coming here today to our warehouse at New York State Solar. We feel very strongly about the customer benefit charge, aka solar tax, being a completely unnecessary obstacle to New York's goals and what's been legislated in the CLCPA. There has not been an accurate study in the state of New York into what solar provides to the grid in terms of monetary value per kilowatt hour. And following such study being conducted, I think the results will be very, very clear, as they were in Maryland and in the Northeast ISO study, which covers New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine, many of our neighbors, all of which found that solar contributes more to the grid in monetary value when you take all variables into account than the retail cost of power. Therefore, there is no cost shift. Therefore, the solar tax is simply a tax. It is not righting any wrong. We'll be hearing today from 3 of our fine New York State senators on their perspectives on the matter, along with Adrienne, Esposito, and Tara on their thoughts on the matter. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Senator Thomas.
Well, thank you all for being here. And thank you for, pushing forward with this wrong. I'm State Senator Kevin Thomas, and I represent Central Nassau here in the New York State Senate. I want to thank my Senate colleagues, Senator Brooks and Senator Gaughran, and local business leaders for being here today to speak out for Long Islanders. Clean energy not only benefits the environment, it benefits our communities and our economy. Long Island is one of the best regions in New York for homeowners who are interested in adding rooftop solar. And yet, Long Island solar customers are being left behind. Now more than ever, we should be encouraging homeowners to adopt sustainable, cost-saving energy solutions like rooftop solar. Instead, LIPA has proposed an additional tax for solar customers called a customer benefit charge. Very creative way of saying a tax. This on top of the fact that Long Islanders have been left out of incentive programs that benefit solar customers in upstate New York. It is simply unfair and unacceptable. These issues not only hurt Long Island's growing solar industry, they are unfair to homeowners who have made an investment in clean energy. I urge LIPA to reconsider this tax. The last thing Long Islanders need is another tax onto their monthly energy bill, especially as we recover from harsh economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. If action is not taken, I am prepared to draft legislation to ease the burden on Long Islanders. We owe it to future generations to leave the world a little greener. Listen, we only have this planet. We do not have a planet B to go to if we wreck this. Long Island has contributed more to the state's green energy goals than any other region. Making the solution more expensive is simply not the answer. Thank you all once again for being here, and let's stop this tax like you have here. Next up, let me call Senator Brooks.
Thank you, Senator Thomas, and good morning, everybody. One of the things we know, solar works. I know that because solar is on my roof, and I see what it does to my utility bill. We don't need taxes on the sun. We have aggressive goals when it comes to clean energy in this state. Solar is one of the solutions. We should be looking at ways of expanding the use of solar, not taxing the use of solar. We need to see efficiencies from our utility companies, not excuses and further charges. Solar works, let's expand it. I spoke to the utilities the other day about this legislation, and I'd indicated to them I'd like to be able to put more panels on my house and go off the grid altogether, because it works. We set some long-term goals that we're not going to reach unless we expand the use of solar, expand the operating efficiencies of our utility companies. This is a step in the wrong direction. Long Island itself is excessively taxed every which way from Tuesday, to the point that we're taxed on taxes. No more of these fees. More efficiency from LIPA, PSE&G. Expand solar, provide financial assistance to those who have difficulty funding that, and recognize that in the end, we have to have clean energy. Let's get there. Stop putting financial burdens in front of everybody else, and recognize that for Long Island in particular, they've been taxed out. They've been taxed out. People took advantage of the environmental advantage of going to solar, had panels installed on those roofs, and now we're effectively trying to punish them. Stop it. We want to get to the point where we are providing environmentally sensitive and efficient energy sources. That's the mission. Stop putting burdens in front of us. Stop every 10 minutes saying, oh, we need more money for this, and we need more money for that. No more. We oppose this legislation, and as Kevin said, if we have to, we'll introduce other legislation to get us to where we have to get to. Thank you, and Jimmy, I guess, will be next.
Thank you, Senators, and it's an honor to be here with all of you and my two great colleagues. Thank you so much. In addition to this being the environmental challenge of our time, look at the economic opportunity that has been created right here in this building, and the opportunities that we have all across this island, all across the state to do this. You know, President Biden recently came back from the climate conference in Scotland, and he made it clear that the United States of America is back. We've rejoined the Paris Accord. We've rejoined the world in trying to make sure that we're getting off the grid and we're making our planet safer for everyone. And we've got to deal with other countries, such as China, that are clearly not going in the same direction as we are. So now we got to talk about LIPA. That's kind of going in the same direction as China. If you think of it, they're saying, well, instead of incentivizing and encouraging, we are going to start imposing a fee or a tax, as my colleagues have said. Now, some will argue that, oh, you know, it's small right now. Forget about it. You know, when you have a public authority and they start a fee, okay, that's just where it's starting. It'll go up, it'll go up, and it'll go up. And not only does it go against our international goals and our federal goals, but this state legislature, you know, working with Adrienne, Esposito, and so many others, and business leaders as well, you know, we passed one of the most expansive climate programs in the United States of America. And this public authority actually is trying to impose a fee that is diametrically opposed to the intent of that legislation. So LIPA, please, just don't do it, get rid of it, so that we have one piece of legislation less that we have to introduce in January. Because if you don't, we will introduce it and we will get it to the governor's desk. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name is Tara McDermott. I'm the Director of Stakeholder Relations at Empower Solar, and I'm the Long Island Chair of NYSEIA. I just want to start by first thanking our elected leaders for standing with us today in opposing this solar tax. We're really here today to celebrate the benefits that solar delivers to the grid, to ratepayers, of course, the local economy, with stable, healthy, clean energy jobs, which we have over 1,000 right here on Long Island. We encourage the LIPA board to acknowledge these benefits by implementing policies that promote, not prohibit, advancing solar with a solar tax. Adding a burden to investors that take it upon themselves to add clean energy to their homes would be counterintuitive to all the statewide goals that we have, the policies that these senators worked really hard to put into place with the Climate Leadership Community Protection Act. It's just not the right time to do it. Right now, we are in a pivotal moment. We don't really get to go back from this. Like the senators said, once it starts, it doesn't stop, it just continues and continues and increases and increases. So this is a moment today that we choose a trajectory of clean energy in our local and state economy for decades to come. And we have an important decision to make, and LIPA, we ask that you make the right decision. Thankfully, we're joined in this position with not only our elected leaders, but important stakeholders as well across business, environment, energy, smart growth groups. Representing those groups today, we have a few of our partner organizations with us. We have Kyle Strober from Association for a Better Long Island. Thank you for joining us. And we have Citizens Campaign for the Environment, Adrienne Esposito. And without further ado, I will introduce Adrienne. It happens to be her birthday today, so we thank her. We thank her for coming on her birthday. Adrienne.
Thank you, Tara. It's so good to be 49 again. So there is a little bit of good news about climate change. And that little bit of good news is that we finally have local government, state government, federal government, stakeholders, businesses, environmentalists, all working together to fight climate change. And the polls show us that the vast majority of Americans also want to be in the fight against climate change. Very rarely in the history of America have we ever seen so much agreement. So we have the public signing up for solar, 10,000 homes here on Long Island, because they want to be part of fighting climate change. We have state policies fighting climate change, and then we have LIPA seeking to profit from climate change. And that's exactly what this is. This tax is simply a money grab by LIPA to profitize off of solar customers, and it must be stopped. We are supposed to be incentivizing solar, not penalizing solar customers. That is counterproductive to the state's goals. We have one of the nation's or the nation's strongest climate change law here in New York. That happened with a lot of hard work, a lot of science, a lot of thought, and a heck of a lot of lobbying. And we have that, and it sets a goal, many goals, but one goal is 70% of our electric generation will come from renewable energy by the year 2030, in 8 short years from now. That means we should be doing everything we can to invest in the significant tool of residential and commercial solar. Instead, LIPA says, I'm going to tax it, I'm going to put up a roadblock, and I'm going to disincentivize this particular green technology. This defies logic, but it's also insulting, and it's irrational, and it needs to be stopped. We expect not only all the stakeholders and government to be rowing the boat in the same direction, but we also expect the Power Authority to be in that boat and row in the same direction with us. And that's the direction to literally save the planet. So they, need to, I'm not even asking them, I think we're demanding that they put this in the shredder and they come up with ideas to incentivize solar instead of penalizing it. Thank you very much.
Pretty universal opinions up here. Sounds like we're all on the same page in industry, environmental groups, policy. Let's stop the solar tax. It's that simple. It's not necessary, and I'm happy to hear the support from our legislators for the industry and environment. I want to thank you guys for coming out today and for your support in this very, very important matter, because it's the future of the planet, it's the future of the green economy, and in reaching our goals. So without further ado, I think we're set for today. Yeah. Any questions?
Maybe just a quick acknowledgement of NYSEIA team.
Sure. Yeah, love to acknowledge the team, both NYSEIA employees. We have Evan. Do you want to raise your hand over here? Evan is the rock star of NYSEIA. He's the guy that makes everything happen, just in general, not just with today, but I don't know, some of you know Evan, some don't. He's the backbone of the organization, and really, it wouldn't happen without him. So I don't think we have Danielle here today, right? Yeah, Danielle is great as well, but she's not here today. Supporting NYSEIA in this endeavor, we have the DHC team. I know today we have Steve Melito and Nicole. If you guys want to raise your hands, they are instrumental to us, making sure that we move this objective forward. And then we also have Catherine and Mark on the PR side, if you guys want to raise your hands, who are providing support to make sure that the public knows about this very, very important issue. Yes. We have several board members here as well. We have Artie, if you want to raise your hand in the back, from CED Long Island, and of course our board president, David Sheeran, who is able to make it out today. Anyone have any questions or final words? No? All right. Fill the mic. Take a picture here.